Okay, so let's start learning about what the allergic reaction is. So, an allergic reaction is a hypersensitive reaction to something that is non-pathogenic, which is called an allergen. Now, an allergen is basically, it could be different things such as pollen, it could be cashews, pistachios, and all these things that you could think of that people are allergic to. And these things are non-pathogenic, meaning they don't cause a disease, but the body misinterprets. Some people's bodies misinterpret them, and so they see them as something suspicious, and so they initiate an immune reaction against it called a hypersensitive reaction. Also, we know it as an allergic reaction. Okay, so what happens, the process of it is an allergen comes, so it's the first exposure, when the person is first exposed to this allergen, it comes and it goes straight to a B cell, a specific type of B cell. Now, this B cell becomes activated and differentiates into both B plasma and B memory. Now, B memory, we don't really have to talk about them, they're kind of irrelevant in this situation. But B plasma are important because they're going to be making our IgE antibodies. Now, these IgE antibodies are going to go to mast cells and are going to bind on mast cells. So on a receptor of the surface of a mast cell, they're going to go and bind to that receptor on the surface of the mast cell. Now, they will just sit there, not do anything really. They will just sit on that receptor, and so they won't do anything. However, on the second exposure, the allergen will straight away go to the IgE antibody that is on the surface, on the receptor of the mast cell. Now, this allergen will bind to the antigen binding site of the IgE antibody, and once they bind, the mast cell is triggered to release its histamines. Now, histamines will basically cause things like vasodilation and vessel permeability, and symptoms of this is pain, swelling, fever, rash, so basically an allergic reaction. That's kind of what an allergic reaction is. That's what an allergic reaction is. That's the process of the allergic reaction. So I'll go through it one more time. So the allergen comes so on the first exposure, allergen comes to a specific B cell and activates it. The B cell differentiates into B plasma, B memory. Then the B memory are irrelevant. However, the B plasma will be producing IgE antibodies. These IgE antibodies will go on and bind to the receptor found on the surface of mast cells. Now, they will just sit like that on the first exposure. They won't do anything. However, on the second exposure, the allergen binds to the antigen binding site of the IgE antibody that's on the mast cell. Now, this mast cell is triggered to release its histamines. Histamines cause vasodilation and vessel permeability if we think about the inflammatory response, and symptoms of symptoms of an allergic reaction include pain, swelling, fever, rash. That's what an allergic reaction is.